Season of the Drifter, Season 6 of Destiny 2 has been revealed a bit more officially via a Bungie ViDoc that I highly suggest you go watch now before watching this video, because this video is just going to recap everything that's in that video, so spoilers, I guess, question mark. The link is in the description along with some other links. If you just want my thoughts, skip to the time on the screen now. Unsurprisingly, Season of the Drifter is about the Drifter. Wow. The main components of the expansion are the following: Gambit Prime, The Reckoning, Invitations of the Nine, the Thorn and Allegiance quest lines, another exotic weapon quest available to everyone, Vanguard Crucible and Gambit Pinnacle weapons, and the Revelry. So let's unpack all of this. It'll also have new triumphs, lore, and all that kind of stuff too. First of all, remember how in Black Armory, how you needed to grind up a bunch in order to play Black Armory? Yeah, that's not going to be the case this time around, as on day 1, Gambit Prime and The Reckoning Tier 1 will be available to play right away. I'll explain what those things are in the next paragraph. I assume The Reckoning will have some sort of level requirement though, but Bungie has introduced Power Surge bounties, which will boost your character to 640 after completing all of the bounties, which should not take you very long. These bounties are very easy. Do some public events, turn in some other bounties, do a strike, kill some enemies. So if you've been out of the game for a while, you can get some infusion fodder to get an armor and a weapon set up to 640. Very good idea. There should always be some sort of catch-up mechanic in the game whenever a new season launches, and an hour of your time I don't think is too much to ask for. The new power cap in Season of the Drifter is 700, and you need to own the annual pass to get those Power Surge bounties. Anyway, moving on to Gambit Prime. This appears to be Gambit with a slightly revised rule set, and will have a bit more going on. The only things mentioned thus far about Gambit Prime in terms of the new rules are the following. Number 1, it's only one round. Number 2, Primeval Slaying will have new mechanics, probably in an attempt to stop people from insta-burning the boss. We'll see how that goes. And 3, teams can now drain motes or siphon motes from the other team's bank. We don't know how that'll work just yet, but we know that it can happen. There are 2 new maps for Gambit Prime. As mentioned in the ViDoc, it'll feel similar to regular Gambit at the start, but over time you'll unlock perks on Gambit armor sets. Gambit Prime's big thing is the fact that it, combined with doing the Reckoning, will give you 4 different options for playing a role via armor sets in Gambit Prime. There are 4 armor sets, each with, I assume, certain perks based on how much of the armor you're wearing, aka maybe set bonuses. The Reaper focuses on PvE slaying, the Collector focuses on mote collection, the Sentry focuses on Taken and Primeval slaying, and the Invader, take a guess. You don't queue into these roles, but rather you become the role that you want to be via the armor set. So yeah, you could potentially have 4 people of the same role on your team, but you'll be able to tell via the glow of their armor what role they are choosing to be. You probably aren't hard locked to that role either. If you're wearing Sentry armor, you can probably still go invade if you want to. I can't imagine Bungie would lock things down that much. But if there's someone with a full set of Invader gear on your team, you maybe go let them do the invading. To get all of this armor, you're going to play Gambit Prime, then you're maybe going to get some sort of a drop, and then you're going to go into the Reckoning, and I guess it forges that drop into an armor piece. That is my speculation as to how that loop will work. The main gameplay loop in Season of the Drifter is Gambit Prime, and then you go to Reckoning, and then you take the Reckoning rewards into Gambit Prime so that you can get more Reckoning rewards to take into Gambit Prime. The Reckoning appears to be a 4-man PvE experience, which is good, matches up with Gambit, being 4 people, blah blah blah. From what the ViDoc shows, it seems like you're just going to be getting swarmed the entire time, and there's a timer on the activity, but other than that, we don't really have a lot of info on what the objectives are, if there's any mechanics or stuff like that. Tier 1 comes out on day 1, Tier 2 comes out on March 8th, and Tier 3 on the 15th. My guess about these tiers is that they're an increase in difficulty, either via power or modifiers or different bosses or something like that. Tier 1's 650, Tier 2 675, Tier 3 700, maybe something like that. Maybe less than 700 for the Tier 3, I don't know. 690, 695. The Reckoning appears to be Season 6's escalation protocol, blind well type of PvE activity. At very first glance, it just happens to be linked to the core gameplay loop of this season. Invitations of the Nine, previously referred to as Zur bounties, will start on March 15th. Apparently the Drifter and the Nine are maybe working together, and I assume March 15th will be the start of uncovering what's actually going on, or at least that's my hope. You'll complete objectives of this Invitation of the Nine, which then transforms into a bounty that you can get once per character per week, I assume. Quote, similar to the bounties you got at the beginning of Forsaken for completing an activity with a full set of gear, end quote. This will last for 9 weeks, where you will collect new lore and rewards. The Allegiance Quest asks you to pick between Team Vanguard and Team Drifter. Fortunately, you'll be able to do one team on one character and then the other team on another, if you so choose, so you can see both sides of the story. Then we have the Thorn Quest becoming available on the 12th. Not much on that other than it's on the 12th, although in the gameplay clip that they showed, when the player got a kill, you had this little glowy ball hanging in the air. So I'm assuming that's related to the perk of the weapon, which means it might not function 100% exactly like it used to, but I imagine Bungie probably kept the core of the Thorn experience intact. That damage over time is probably still part of it, but who knows. The Revelry is the spring event available for everyone to play coming on April 16th for 3 weeks. My guess is that this is going to be a Dawning style event in the spring. There's also Arc Week starting on April 9th. Literally no information about that is known at all. Next, we have some new pinnacle weapons, an SMG for the Crucible, an Omelon Scout for the Vanguard, and a heavy machine gun for Gambit. I assume these will work largely the same way as they did in Season 5. More information about these weapons will be posted in the description as soon as it is live on Bungie.net. Finally, Season 7 has been teased, the Season of Opulence, where it looks like we'll be going back to the Leviathan sometime in June. Season of Opulence will have an exotic quest for everyone, power cap increase, new weapons and gear, a new raid, and a new 6-player match-made activity, along with some other to-be-announced things. Thoughts? Well, expectations were pretty much met. When we were told that Season 6 was going to be Drifter-focused, I assumed that Gambit was going to be a part of it. Lo and behold, it is. Season of the Forge's gameplay loop was pretty laid back, all things considered. It was PvE only, so I think most people felt okay about it. With half of the main gameplay loop being Gambit this season, well, as I mentioned in my State of Gambit video, there's a Gambit stigma in the community. I think Gambit in a vacuum is great, but in-game, it has grown a little stale and people are frustrated with it. Gambit Prime is Gambit taken to the next level. The fate of this season will really depend on if Gambit Prime grabs the community in a way that Gambit currently cannot, and how enjoyable of a loot experience the Reckoning is. 4 sets of gear across 3 characters. That's a lot of Reckoning and Gambit to play, potentially. It's also just a lot of gear in general. But it's only Gambit-related gear as far as I know. If you don't even want to touch Gambit Prime at all, then you probably don't need to play Reckoning. That's the equivalent of not playing the Forges in Black Armory. Invitations of the Nine may keep you a little busy, but if you're not into this Gambit Reckoning loop, then I'm not too sure how active you're going to be. If these armor sets are indeed Destiny's first step into set bonuses on armor, I'm all for it. It is about time that we've seen set bonuses explored in Destiny, and hopefully Bungie can expand on these in the future. Although I can understand some apprehension about set bonuses, maybe making the fashion endgame a little less interesting. I'm very interested in seeing how these gear sets and the revised rule sets will change the Gambit experience. I really like the concept of being able to spec yourself for what you want to do, or potentially have bonuses in 2 different gear sets if you're able to mix and match. Being able to siphon motes from the enemy team sounds interesting and could change the way you have to play. The revised primeval mechanics could also change things up, so it's not just kill wizards and then instantly annihilate boss every single time, although I suspect killing the boss as fast as possible will still be the goal. The fact that Gambit Prime is only 1 round, I think, is helpful, since Gambit can be a very long, maybe fatiguing experience. Just having 1 round, but maybe making it last a little bit longer would be a good duration for a match. Around Crucible match duration would be good. Otherwise, it's kind of early to tell what's going to happen with this coming season. I thought Gambit in the live version of the game was going to be super amazing and that the community would be playing it a ton, and I guess that was true at the start, but it fell off, so I don't really want to say anything about this version of Gambit because I just have no idea. I think Reckoning will grab more people's attention since it's PvE, and it will have matchmaking for every single tier, but if the main rewards from Reckoning are for Gambit Prime, and you don't want to play Gambit, then that just falls off the map for you, and then you're left with what exactly? I'm not sure, besides the little sprinkle of other things coming over the first 2 or 3 weeks. I'm just gonna put a big ol' "we'll see" stamp on Season of the Drifter for now, and we will reevaluate after we get to play. The non-Gambit Reckoning stuff looks cool, you know, the 9 bounties, Drifter Lore, Allegiance Quest, Thorn Quest. I don't have any issues with that stuff at all. I think that's pretty exciting. But Gambit Prime and Reckoning is where it's going to be at for this season, and those things really need to be a hit for Season of the Drifter to be successful in the eyes of the community. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.